G'day, welcome to Yowie Busters, out here in the beautiful forest. No better place to be, surrounded by living plants and soils and beautiful rocks, sculpted in all sorts of shapes and sizes, with all sorts of compositions, and it's just, the place is basically just glowing with life, as usual, as it should be. And I've always sort of fancied that I had a good nose for fishies. Everyone thinks they've got a good nose for fishies, and I suppose that just comes down to the parameters, like what people define as species. In this case, I'm talking about Yowie species, and so this is something I've come across, which I assume, just because there's so much of it, I assume to belong to the Yowie. And this stuff's pretty fresh. In fact, I'm not even certain if it was here when I walked this way earlier in the day, which means, as most of us who are in the know, it means I'm, more or less surrounded by Yowies, which is, I don't know, it's daunting. I try not to get scared. I try to remain open-minded about it. And just keeping my eyes open. Every time I make a video, I go home and meticulously spend hours just siphoning through every image, just making sure there's nothing I've missed, because I want to get on film like a large hairy creature ambling through the bush, and most of the time I'm just talking into the camera. But so I wouldn't know if the owl is right behind me now. It's not, but yeah, so pretty hard evidence. Sort of soft yet firm evidence that I'm on the right trail, I think. It may be like the lyrebirds. I might be missing some kind of key component to trying to bust the Yowie, but I'm pretty excited to come across this kind of stuff. And yeah, hopefully I'll be able to see a Yowie pretty soon. I'm not sure. I was thinking to myself that maybe, like a lot of the people who say they've seen one, there's a remote possibility that they haven't. I have less, I'm not so pessimistic. I have more faith in my fellow humans and their human experiences. I don't want to be led astray. I try not to sort of consume too many mediated sort of accounts of others, because I want to sort of have the Yowie experience myself without having any expectations. So it's getting very windy up here. Similarly to the UFOs, I'm not exceptionally interested in UFOs. However, there might be a relationship with them and the Yowie. They might be working with the Yowie. I think UFOs are, for the most part, just militarism. So they're just like, if what are we, 2022, so you know, 65 years ago you could have a craft reaching phenomenal speeds that was manufactured by the mind of man, reaching phenomenal speeds, built out of titanium. So you know what they're whipping up. You know, these kind of craft were built by the companies that essentially farm human beings. So they farm us. You could call them the big farmers, and they own our Australian Strategic Policy Institute, for instance, is run, the decisions that our country makes for their citizens are made by the same industrialists and essentially like the same people who I assume build what most people refer to as UFOs, and it can be something to marvel at. Technology in general can be useful. I'm using a GoPro right now. However, a lot of it is just militarism, and it's sort of not, it's just not something I'm really into. I'm not about to worship creations of mankind that wows me or that I can't understand. I sort of just plonk it into that that militarism sort of basket, which is sort of diametrically opposed to the goodwill of a normal human being. It pays plenty of them. It can compartmentalize roles in a way that you think you're not contributing to something unpleasant. But nonetheless, that's what I think about the UFO phenomena. I think mostly it's essentially militarism. Now, are Yowies part of that? You could argue that most Yowie encounters are actually apes or monkeys. You know, they might have whipped a plane full of people over to Diego Garcia and played around with some technologies that we're not privy to, and created some kind of ape-like creature and released it onto the land. For what purpose, I'm not sure, but that is possibly refuted by early, pre-1800 kind of eyewitness reports of creatures that resemble Yowies. So I'd like to think, if anything, that scene of sort of advanced militarism that we're not privy to probably wants to, if they're farming humans, which I have no doubt they are. Have you had your latest booster? If they're farming humans, they're probably not so keen on the notion